It's time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode is brought to you by PSE Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Cabela's,
Antler Action,
Spot Shooter Archery,
Tom's Custom Turkey Calls,
Family Traditions Tree Stands,
and Badass Slingshots.
So what do you do when you've completely redefined the way bows are engineered? When you've reached the pinnacle and the band starts playing your victory song, you start a revolution out of thin air. Introducing the all-new PSE Carbon Air, engineered with true carbon technology to be the lightest high-performance bow in the world. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
We know the future of hunting depends on our nation's youth. But did you know that in many states, it's illegal for you to take your son or daughter hunting until the age of 12 or even older? As a result, we have fewer young hunters, and the Families Afield program is designed to eliminate those barriers. Hunting is safe, and the safest hunters afield are young people with adult mentors. Visit our website at familiesafield.org to find out how you can bring more families afield.
Welcome back to another Up North Journal Minicast.
Something you're going to hear in the next 3 to 10 minutes on our Minicast here. You're not going to hear this anywhere on our main show, but you're going to hear it right now on this Minicast. And a little interesting thing happened to Mike last week.
3 to 10 minutes, huh? You're broadening your horizons.
I am. You like that, huh?
I got that.
You know, something happened to you last week that you have never done.
Yeah. I spent 9 days up north. Doing some bow hunting, really hit it hard. And I decided in the middle of my hunt, or at probably the last third of my hunt, I got some intel, running trail cams, and came across something that reaffirmed the buck that I was hunting was in the area and where I thought he was coming from. It reaffirmed it.
But you didn't have a stand there.
Didn't have a stand, so I pulled a stand and moved a stand broad daylight, middle of the day, and sat on it that night.
I think that's perfectly okay.
Sometimes you gotta think outside the box. Sometimes you gotta switch it up. I think we have a tendency to get complacent with our stand sets. It's like, well, I put it there for good reason, and I'm not moving it. And actually, I contemplated moving a stand 2 different times. I never did move it. I went and grabbed another one from a different spot that was a backup, and I knew that I wasn't going to hunt there. So I pulled that stand and I put it where I wanted to put the other one.
So you used your intel, and you took another stand. You went midday. You changed locations to the intelligence that you were getting where this buck might be.
Yeah.
Results?
Didn't see him that night. Next night, I laid eyes on him.
See?
Laid eyes on him. Yeah. And
it
actually,
just wasn't in your bow range.
No, he was 75 to 100 yards out. And actually, had I sat where I originally was sitting, there's a good chance I got a shot at him. But
really?
That's hunting, though. I mean,
but that is hunting. You know, you took the information that you got and said, okay, X, Y, and Z, take a stand, put it here.
Yeah, I moved W.
Right.
I already had X, Y, and Z covered, and I moved W and made it double Z.
Exactly. You know what? And last week when I was up north, I kind of did the same thing. I had my daughter and her friend up bow hunting, and I was trying to get them in front of bucks to shoot at, and they were sitting together to start, and the intelligence to me was like, okay, I'm seeing deer at multiple stands.
Right.
You know, let's split
get
them up.
Covered.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's split them up, get them in 2 different stands, and hopefully a buck will walk by. Mm-hmm. They saw deer.
Okay. No bucks.
No bucks.
No, but that makes sense. You and I have talked about this before on the show. We hunt with our kids. We have a tendency to hunt with them, and as they get older, there comes that time when you have to kind of part ways and like, okay, look, we can maximize our hunting success by splitting up and not sitting together.
And the only reason, and it was Gabby's first bow hunt ever.
Right.
And Kelly's already done it. So I kind of let her mentor Gabby a little bit.
Right, and being left and right-handed shooter.
Oh, that was a whole nother... that was an interesting thing to let them figure that out. But they figured it out, and they did a great job of doing it. But the intelligence you had, you went with it. It almost paid off.
Yeah, and I'm really happy with the results, the way it played out. I mean, I didn't get a shot, but I laid eyes on the buck finally. And don't ever be afraid to think outside the box and switch something up. But my suggestion is don't do it in the morning. Don't do it in the evening. Do it in the middle of the day when you're least likely to bust game.
Right, exactly. And the other
do
part
it quietly.
And try to do it as quietly as you can, and don't be afraid to do it.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give it a try because, like you said, it's hunting.
Yeah.
It didn't work out, but you still saw the buck,
Yeah.
even though it was 80 yards away. It kind of worked, and it proved to you that you were able to move a stand, and you did have deer right by your stand.
Yeah. I just chose not to shoot a doe because actually the buck was in the field, or it was moving through and on out, and I was afraid that if I had shot the doe, that it would have spooked the buck and I would have messed that whole thing up.
Right.
And he'd be out of the area. The other thing is, I left the whole stand intact. I use family tradition tree stands. They just don't break down easily. They're super sturdy. They're really stout. So I threw it on top of the Jeep. Yes, I drove into my area, which, you know me, I used the bicycle this whole season, but I drove in middle of the day on the road. We have a gas wells up there, and they drive through there once a week checking gas wells. So the deer are used to hearing or seeing a vehicle pass through occasionally. I had not been in there that whole week with a vehicle,
Right.
So I slipped in middle of the day, typically when he comes through, got in there. The stand didn't need to bang and put stuff together. It was already together.
Right.
All I did was take it, walk to the tree, lean it up, secure my straps, ratchet it to the tree. I had a pole saw with me. I trimmed a couple real small limbs and got out of there.
There you go.
I had that. I got in and out of there in less than 15 minutes.
There you go. And you weren't afraid to do it. You gave it a try.
And it worked.
Almost paid off, but
Yeah.
it's hunting.
So, my suggestion is think outside the box, get out there, do something
Give
different.
it a whirl.
And maximize your success out there, or your opportunity for success.
Absolutely.
That'll do it for this minicast. This episode was brought to you by PSE Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Cabela's,
Antler Action,
Spot Shooter Archery,
Tom's Custom Turkey Calls,
Family Traditions Tree Stands,
and Badass Slingshots.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe until next week on the Up North Journal.